Hi, welcome to your second prenatal yoga class here online. And yeah, I'm so glad to be doing this with you. And yeah, good job carving out some time in your day to take good care of your body. So we're going to start standing today. You'll take your hands roughly chest height and then step back away from the wall. And you want to be able to see your arms in your peripheral view, have your feet at hips width distance or even a wide hips width distance, and then really reach back through your hips. So your shoulders reach to your hands and your rib cage draws back into the room, your pelvis back into the room, and then imagining your tailbone extends into a tail, you can wag your tail a little bit side to side and just kind of lengthen out through the sides of the hips. Good. And then pause in the middle, reach back, and walk all the way in. As you come close to a wall, you'll stack your hands at forehead height, and just rest your forehead against your hands against the wall, and really lean into the support of the wall. And then checking in with the wrist, you'll take your hands out in front of you and imagine you set something on your forearms like a little teacup, and then circularize your wrist joint. Sorry, my kitchen is so backlit here, but I wanted to be able to show this sequence at a wall today because it's such a great prop in yoga, and especially while we're pregnant. And so this is what I got. And then you can open up your palms in front of you, curl in your knuckles, and draw your hands to the floor. I'll come a little bit closer again. You see, you open up your palms and curl the fingers in and draw the knuckles down. This is a good stretch for the back of the wrist. And then we'll rest that, and then we'll get a stretch down the line of the forearm. So now you'll take your left hand to the wall a little higher than your shoulder, draw your head of your arm bone back and down, and then you might turn a little bit even from the feet, but you want to keep the arm bone back and down into the socket. So you're not letting this humerus pop forward. You can see that. And then there's mostly this feeling like you're trying to push the wall away and move your rib cage away from the wall. Okay, and then we'll release and take the second side. So now you have your right hand a little higher than your shoulder blade back and down, and then turning a little bit even from your feet away from your right hand. Have a feeling like you're pushing the wall away with your right hand and moving your rib cage away from the wall. Okay, and then we'll release that. Next we'll take warrior one at the wall. So you'll have your left foot forward close to the wall, and then take your hands on the wall and step your right foot back till you get a calf stretch in your right calf. You're bending your knee, and then be high on your fingertips and walk your hands up the wall. A lot of times in class we would do this with the knee leaning against a block, or the shin, upper shin. So if you had a block you could do that, but otherwise I'm just showing without it. Minimal props today just to see, be able to work with what you got at home here. So we all have a wall. Hopefully you can clear out some space and work at the wall. Okay, so tailbone broad to the right, right leg reaching, heel reaching to the floor, and then lift from the back body up through the fingertips, growing tall at the wall. Good. Okay, and then slide your hands down, turn your feet parallel and step your feet together, and then we'll come and take the second side. So you're bringing your right foot forward, left foot back now, until you feel the calf stretch, high on the fingertips. And yes, it's harder to be on your fingertips because it engages the arm muscles more. So I really like this for strengthening around the shoulders, the arms, but it is a little more tiring than just having your hands flat. So you're not making it up. Tailbone broad to the left, left heel reaching against the floor. And then the back ribs wide, shoulder blades reaching, lifting up your back to help you extend up through your arms, all the way up to your fingertips. Good. Okay. And then we'll slide the arms down and step the feet together. Next, we'll take our forward fold just like we started with. We did a couple things to open and lift the chest, a little bit of a calf stretch. So now we'll see how this forward fold feels again. So you plant your hands, stretch back till your feet are under your hips, and then let's see. Lift your head so you can see your arms in your peripheral view, but really be looking down at the floor, lengthening the crown of your head towards the wall, and then draw back through the floor of your pelvis into the room. Soften your inner knees, and then breathe to your baby. Good. Okay, soft knees, walk all the way in, stack your hands at hip forehead height, and rest your forehead against your hands, and take a couple of breaths. If it feels natural for you, you can circle your hips in one direction. And then circle back in the other direction. Good. Okay. Next I want to take our wide-legged squat. This is a really heavy pose for your pelvic floor, and your pelvic floor is already doing some heavy-duty work supporting baby as they get bigger. So just know that this is supposed to be hard, but it's a great strength builder. It's good check-in with the whole pelvis and the strength of your body too, okay? So you just less is more. So your feet are a little turned out, wider than hips with distance. As you bend your knees, just kind of play with this. Let your knees track over your toes and keeping a little bit of an upright spine. You might come a little forward as you come down. Good. And you're just coming as low as feels appropriate. So pain-free in your joints and your knees. As the knees track over the toes, feel a little strength to the side hips come. Good. And then come down and hold it. Breathe. Feel the strength of the side hips. Breathe to your baby. Good. Okay. Now turn the feet parallel and just rock your hips a little side to side. Coming out. And then take the arms, reach high. And then you can interlace the hands, release the pointer finger and reach right. And then reach high through center to the left. And switch the interlace and reach right. Go down through your left heel and up through the left side body, through the left arm. And up and left. Good. Back up and release the arms down. And then walk the feet back together. Good. Okay, let's do a couple standing poses. So if you have that spot at the wall, then that's really helpful for supporting the back heel. And then you want a block for your hand, okay? So we're gonna start with your right heel against the wall, your left foot pointing towards the top of your mat. And even though your heel's against the wall, your toes are off the wall, so that your right foot is turned in a little bit just like the rest of your leg. Right hand on the wall, left hand reaching into the room. Stand tall, inhale. Exhale, reach out to come up and over into your triangle pose. Let the tailbone be broad to the wall, breastbone turning open to the ceiling, even though baby's a little bit turning towards the floor, your pelvis. And then reach up through the top arm to come out. Good, inhale. Exhale, triangle pose, second side or second round. Tailbone wide. Breastbone turning open. And then again, reach to come up and out. Okay, one more. And exhale to tip down. Good. Breathe to your baby. And then reach to come up and out. Okay, turn your left foot parallel and step your feet in towards each other. And then turn and come to your second side. So now you want your left heel supported at the wall. And your right foot points towards the top of your mat. Hips are facing a little bit rightward. Left hand on the wall, right arm reaching. Inhale. And then exhale, tip from the pelvis to come down into your pose. And collarbones are wide. Shoulder blades onto your back body. Breastbone turning open. And then reach through the top arm. Inhale, come out. Good. Take a round of breath, standing tall. And then reach and come back in. Good. Check in with your baby. Take a nice deep breath down to your baby. And then reach and come up and out. Last one here. Stand tall. Take a breath. And then exhale to tip forward and down. Good. Getting more and more familiar in the body, so your body kind of settles into the shape a little bit easier, maybe on the third round. And it's that kind of sweet spot of you get a little bit tired as you do these. Okay, we'll come up and out, but also becomes more familiar, which is great. Okay, turn the feet parallel and then step the feet together. From here, I want to take a wide-legged forward fold. So there's different ways to do this. You could support your hands on a chair or something if you don't have 2 yoga blocks. A lot of times in class we do it with our hips against the wall, but you can also do it sideways coming forward. So I'm going to show with my hips against the wall. I'm going to come nice and close to the wall, and I'm actually going to step my feet out on either side of my sticky mat. I know my feet are nice and sticky on this floor, but you want to make sure that your feet are a good distance away from the wall, right? At least like 3 inches or so. And then you have a chair or yoga blocks in front of you, okay? Whatever height you need. So my hips stay on the wall the whole time. I'm sliding my pelvis up. I can find my balance easily. If you can't find your balance, then your feet are too close to the wall. And then have your hands right under your shoulders. And you just take a moment to let your sitting bones lift up the wall. Your upper buttocks muscles are drawn back towards the wall, and then your breastbone's moving forward. And then the variations are up to you. Some people need to keep their head a little bit lifted, so it's not so much intense blood flow to the brain. So just see how that pressure feels. Or you can start to walk your hands forward, use your blocks or your chair to take your arms further forward. And we'll stay for a couple more breaths. If it's too intense to have your head low, you can always come out early. And then you'll walk your hands back under your shoulders. Take a moment with your hands under your shoulders to re-lengthen your breastbone forward and look forward. And then from here, you just soften your knees and toe heel your feet back close together. Walk your hands onto your thighs and then roll and stand and just lean against the wall for a little bit in case you feel a little bit lightheaded. That's a great pose though for kind of a little reset, kind of a calming pose. It's like doing headstand, which has some nice quieting effects on the brain. Okay. From here, I wanted to come and do some wiggles in hands and knees, but you modify this as you need to for your wrists, okay? So you could find some lifts and do this under your elbows, or you could also do cat-cow from standing and put your hands forward on a chair for less weight. So we're gonna come forward, pad your knees on something, if you're not on like a carpeted surface. And then from your hands and knees position, we'll take our cat-cows. And I teach these every class, but it's because they are so lovely and important. So you can do a couple just kind of waving up and down the spine, or whatever feels intuitive to you, a little bit of a wiggle. And then I like to take this a little bit more circular, so you might walk your hands out from under your shoulders, another hand's length forward, and then from here lean your hips to the right, rock them back towards your heels, forward to the left, almost like a little bit of a back bend, and around to the right. So as baby gets bigger, widen your knees to give yourself some room for baby. And just enjoy that feeling of the femurs kind of rolling around in the sockets, a little wiggle and movement through the rest of the body. Good, and then the next time you come forward, let's switch directions. Going around and to the right. Good, let's do one more of these circles, and then we'll take a spinal balance. So it's been a little while. If you need to give your wrist a break. Lift up off your shoulder blades, tuck the left toes under, lift the left leg, reach back through the inner left leg. If it touches a wall or something, that's even better. And then the right arm reaches forward. Unlock your left elbow, lift up off your collarbones. If your left wrist is bothering you, you can be on your knuckles. You can keep your right hand down the whole time. Okay, grow long, and then release. And we'll take the right leg back. Both hip points stay looking at the floor. Right leg reaches back, left arm comes forward. Grow long in both directions. Good, deep abs supporting around your baby. Lift up off your right collarbone. Reach out. And then we'll release that. Good, and then from here, if it's okay on your knees, it's nice to just stand on your knees. You can sit on your heels and just give your wrists a little love. Reach them out overhead. Good. Okay, and then next we'll rest in a child's pose. So if you have a blanket, it's better to open it up so it supports your shins more. And then use whatever you got. So from here, maybe you found couch cushions work well. Otherwise, sometimes I like to take like 2 blankets and roll them up together to create a bolster-like shape. If you have your bolster, then use that. Thinking of you, Melody, it's nice you bought your bolster, huh? Just in time here. So you want to let your knees be wide apart, big toes close, knees wide, a big gap for baby. And then you come forward and have a lot of weight into your chest and your head. And maybe you tuck your hands under your bolster. And use this as a time to breathe a little bit more into the back diaphragm, opening up space there. And this is such a good way to stretch out your back, so definitely figure out a good setup for you. And then if your head's turned one direction, go ahead and turn it the other direction so you get a balanced stretch on your neck. Okay, and then walk your hands under your shoulders, and from here we'll spend a little bit of time inverted and legs up the wall. If that sounds good to you, you could rest longer in child's pose or do cross-legged, sit cross-legged and fold forward over a chair if you don't want to be upside down. But otherwise you can use that bolster or cushion. So for this one, there's different ways of coming into it. I'll show putting the bolster underneath you afterwards. Although thinking if you're on a rolled up blanket, it's really hard to move. So, okay, if you're on a rolled up blanket, you want to put it in right away. So let's show it that way. So from here I have the bolster is a good 6 inches away from the wall. And I don't know, can you see me? I'm going to take my sweater off to make sure you can see this better. And then I'm coming to sit on the very front edge of the bolster, like I'm in a squat. And then from here you lean onto your outer hand, so this is my right hand, and then you bump so that you're on your side hips, so that the sitting bones are facing towards the wall, and then while facing sideways, you lay down. This is the awkward part. So now I'm on my right shoulder, but then when I roll over onto my back, I'm hopefully roughly centered on the bolster. So the bolster is under your lower back and top of your pelvis, so that your tailbone's kind of dipping over the sides of the bolster, and then you extend your legs up. We want the knees a little soft so that there isn't a lot of pressure, right? If you end up far away from the wall, there can be quite a bit of pressure in the knees, so you have to adjust for that. Yeah, this can be a harder pose to figure out on your own at home, but I also feel like it's really worth it to figure it out. So give it a try. Even if it doesn't work well today, you can try again tomorrow. This is just such a great way to kind of check in with your body and kind of rest your nervous system. It's a really good way to start to kind of cool and calm things down physically, right? You feel your toes getting cooler, but also emotionally, mentally calm down. And in this pose, if you ever feel short of breath or a little bit anxious, then that's a good indicator to just come out. You just kind of bend your knees and slowly roll to your left side. And then you can just lay on your side for a little bit until you're ready to sit up. In the pose, you're welcome to keep your hands on your baby, on your belly, or just let them rest out by your sides, whatever feels comfortable for you. And then while you hold a restorative pose, it's a great opportunity to just check in and see if your mind has wandered. And you just gently call yourself being coming back here into your body and right back here into just observing. So you can observe your breathing, your breath as it floats in, and your breath as it floats out. If you're comfortable here, we're going to keep our legs at the wall for 1 more minute. So you decide for yourself. You're okay? Okay. And then slowly bend your knees. And then from here, you can move the bolster first, or you can scoot back. You can hang out in a little bit of a squat for a minute if this feels good to you. It's a great way to widen the pelvic floor without the weight of baby. Okay. And then after you've had your legs up for a while, it's nice to just rest on your side and feel the blood come back into your legs. And then you'll use your arm strength to sit up. We're gonna just take one more pose, one more restorative pose before we end class today. So this is our last pose. Just checking, okay, good. And you'll want a couple things to support your outer thighs. So towel, whatever would help you feel at ease here. If you have yoga blocks, a lot of times we do the high height for the first block and the low height for the second block. And then the bolster can be propped at that nice angle. And then you sit really close to the front edge of the bolster. Remember at the other video we showed with couch cushions, so you could repeat that. If that worked well for you, or blankets rolled up, and just make sure that your lower back feels really quiet and supported here. And then for your outer thighs, you want to bring your feet together and support your thighs with a little bit of a prop. So I have 2 blocks, but you could easily roll up towels or something. And that's a good support. Okay, so yeah, settle in, get comfortable. You could set up a sideline shavasana if you prefer that. And then if your elbows aren't touching the floor, it's really nice to have something under your elbows. Maybe you have to call for help. Tell someone to bring you an extra cushion from your pillow. Put 2 pillows under your elbows from your couch. Would be quite lovely in this pose. And then as you settle in here, you can kind of lean a little bit to one side and tuck your left shoulder blade down your back, and lean and tuck your right shoulder blade onto your back body, so you really feel this lift and opening across the front of the chest. And then scoot your pelvis just a tiny bit away from the bolster to re-lengthen through your lower back. And then if you feel comfortable, or as you feel ready, you can let your eyes close and settle into your Supta Baddha Konasana, your reclined bound ankle pose. Starting to really allow your low belly to soften around your baby. Notice if you have like excess feeling of gripping, right? We want abdominal support as we move around throughout the day for stability in our body. But right now, as you lay back on your props, resting on the floor, can you let your belly be so soft? And really allow for a sense of spaciousness for you and spaciousness for your baby. And let your breathing slow down, but only in a way that feels very comfortable, easy for you. Going to make a couple of noises in the next breath cycle, so it's nice you're at home, you can kind of let yourself be free and just experiment with these noises. We're going to take a nice deep breath in and a flutter of your lips, a little, you do that just a couple times, and a little. One more of those. And then switching on your exhale to a little bit of a low vowel sound. So you'll take a nice slow in-breath And just a little bit of a sound to your exhale. And do that 2 more times. My dog wants to come check it out. And a little You might have a little more breath than you at first imagined. 1 more of those. And then you can just let your breathing return to its natural pattern. So it's normal to take a little smaller breaths while you're pregnant, right? There's less space for your diaphragm to expand. And then it's also normal to take shallow breaths when we're feeling stressed. And this time, these days have been a little bit different than normal. And with that can come a sense of just stress or anxiety, and without even realizing it, sometimes our breathing can get pretty shallow. So adding a little bit of sound to your exhale can sometimes give us access to that bigger out breath, a bigger range of breathing out than we even knew we had. So just letting that kind of help bring you some sense of awareness of how much breath you really do have inside your body. And not that I want you to go crazy and take gigantic breaths in and out, but just being aware and letting your breathing lengthen out every once in a while as you bring a little extra awareness to it throughout your day. We'll stay here for a little bit longer, but also check in with your body. If you need something different, please feel free to lay on your side. Stretch your legs out straight if it's too much of a stretch on the inner thighs. Whatever adjustments you need here for the last 2 minutes of resting in this shape, in this pose. Bring your awareness onto your breathing again. And then just as you're ready, you'll stretch your arms out, support under your thighs to lift your knees back together. Take a round of breath. Maybe even bring your hands to your baby, to your belly. Say hi to baby again. And then take your time to roll to your side. Use your arms to help you sit. Okay. All right. Namaste. Thank you so much for carving out this time, for doing a little yoga with me. Yeah, I'm just so proud of you guys. It's definitely a little bit of a different time in the world, and there's already so many feelings when you're pregnant, right? And just getting to know your baby as they grow along inside of you. So I just wanted to take a moment at the end of class to just validate you, that you're incredible, you're growing this human. And it's also a little bit of a challenging time in the world with the coronavirus and all the sheltering in place and not being able to do our normal things that help us relieve stress. So If you're feeling anxious or all kinds of feelings come up, right? For me, like every moment, I'm like, how am I going to feel now? That just know that that's normal, that's okay. And if you need to cry, if you need to let those feelings out, then go for it, because it's the best thing you could do. Crying is so healing. Yeah, so I just want you to know your feelings are valid, and yeah, reach out if you need help from friends or family. For me, I'd love to chat with you guys if you want to. And anyways, yeah, take good care of yourselves, okay? All right, namaste.